Hello, friends, and welcome back to the channel. It's always beautiful to have you here. Today, we'll quickly be discussing viral pathogenesis and the various stages of viral pathogenesis. Now, when you talk about viral pathogenesis, what are you talking about? You're talking about the process through which viruses are able to gain entry into a human being, into living human cells. And not only do they gain this entry, but when they gain entry, they now begin to cause changes. They begin to cause adverse negative changes within the individual, such that if left unchecked, they now lead to the development of a disease. That's what we refer to as viral pathogenesis. And we realize that many viruses are able to cause many different diseases of different types: COVID, HIV, human papilloma virus, human herpes simplex virus, there are so many viruses, and they cause different kinds of illnesses, and it's important to note this. Now, it's important to note that there are stages in viral pathogenicity. There are about 6 to 7 stages through which the virus has to go through these stages before it's able to cause disease within the host organism, within the living human organism. Now, the first of those stages is the entry stage. The virus has to find a way to come into the human body, and it could come in through all the various routes through which it can come in. So it could be through fecal oral route, it could be through airborne, it could be through sexual contact, through exchange of body fluids, through the so all these different routes are different routes through which viruses are able to find their way into the human body: the respiratory tract, the genital tract, fecal oral route, the mouth. Through so all these are the routes through which the virus can find its way into the human body. Now, when the virus is able to enter into the human body, the virus needs to attach itself. So it attaches itself depending on which area of the body it's able to gain entry through. It attaches itself to different parts of the body, and when it attaches itself, it begins to replicate. That's the next point. So it attaches itself, and then it begins to replicate within the human cells. It finds its way into the human cells and begins to replicate. Now, viruses are such that when they replicate, they don't have any genetic machinery that they can use to make many copies of themselves. So what they do is that they take up the host cell's own genetic machinery. So the DNA, the RNA components within the human cells, the viruses, their own viral protein, they use it, their own viral genome, they use it to take up all these RNA and DNA of the human, and they make many copies of themselves. So they reproduce, they hijack the host's own machinery and then reproduce very massively within the host. And when as they do that, they now also spread locally from one cell to another. Sometimes they find their way into the bloodstream, and they spread all within the bloodstream too. So you now have systemic distribution. So the virus moves through all the systems, going through the bloodstream, going to the lymph, going to other body fluids, saliva, and finding its way to all the different parts of the body. Now, sometimes there's a target organ. Sometimes the virus has a particular organ that it has affinity for, and then it moves towards that organ and begins to cause problem in that organ. For an example, viruses like hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E viruses, they target the hepatocytes. These are the cells of the liver, and so they move towards those cells and begin to target those cells and begin to fight against those cells and begin to cause problems within those cells. Then lastly is viral shedding. It's important that any virus that finds its way into the human body also finds a way to come out of the human body. Now, it can come out when the human coughs, when it sneezes, when it passes urine, when it passes fecal matter, and even in our sweat. It's obvious that all these different body fluids and body forms of excreta or excretion or egestion, the virus finds its way out of the human body through all of these processes. Thank you for listening to this. We've discussed viral pathogenicity. We've discussed the different stages of viral pathogenicity. We'll still talk a little bit more about viral pathogenicity. Thank you for listening, and do have a beautiful day.